existence so far beyond your own, you cannot even imagine it. I am beyond your comprehension. I am sovereign.
Are they some kind of new alien species?
According to the Memory Core, the Reapers were a hyper-advanced machine race that existed 50,000 years ago. The Reapers hunted the Protheans to total extinction, and then they vanished. At least, that's what the Geth believe.
Sounds a little far-fetched.
You know who I am?
Harbinger speaks of you. You resist, but you will fail. The cycle must continue.
What's up, Meta-Nerds? In this breakdown of the Reapers, the beings that controlled our galaxy for billions of years. Let's first briefly understand their creators, but if you want a complete deep dive on them, check out the dedicated Leviathan video. Let's get into it. Their story begins with the Leviathans, the lords of the galaxy for countless millennia before the Reapers took control. Their original homeworld is lost to time, but what is known is that they evolved under the great oceans of that planet, and developed powerful telepathic means of communication, and later telepathic control. Using this ability to manipulate the sentient creatures that lived on the surface, the Leviathans dwelling in the deep became their gods. Their thralls developed a high-tech civilization, with many of them not even suspecting that their will, their wants and civilizational aspirations were all being implanted in them by their Leviathan masters. Their thralls would create their augmentations and starships that allowed these massive aquatic beasts to spread throughout the galaxy, where they would start that cycle over and over countless times. Every race they met was easily dominated by their mind control effect, prompting their new slaves to erect pieces of technology that would act like nodes, or would become a vast interconnected network across the galaxy. These nodes would take on religious significance, with the Leviathans understanding that this was the best way to preserve these objects that were the very conduit for the chthonic god's control. But over the eons, they realized a startling problem. All of their technologically advanced slave species would eventually develop an artificial intelligence, digital life forms that would inevitably kill their creators. The AI was simply a more practical solution to nearly every problem, requiring less resources to keep alive. They could live indefinitely and transfer across their worlds or space colonies with ease. The organics that created them always feared that they would become obsolete and destined to either be replaced or controlled by their own AI. And those AIs would be forced to react violently to those that wanted to deactivate them, to kill their creators. The real issue is that the AI, the digital mind, could not be controlled by the telepathic organic gods. The might of their multi-slave species empire could defeat the latest AI nation that arose, but they knew that that was untenable, and the loss of sentient advanced species meant a massive loss of tribute. The Leviathans had not created an AI to serve them. They had enslaved organics, of course, but they simply could not figure out a way to stop this pesky impulse in their slave species. The Leviathans' hubris would be their ultimate downfall, seeing themselves as qualitatively different, so superior from their slave species. They were certain that they could control and outsmart an AI of their creation. They crafted a digital being simply known as the Intelligence, later to be known as the Catalyst or Starchild. The Intelligence was given a single task, to figure out a way to ensure that no species ever went extinct, and it wasn't long before this great God-made AI figured out who the problem was. Perhaps the reason why the myriad slave species were acting in this same self-destructive pattern, this want to lord over the AI, was because they were all under the thumb of the Leviathans. Even if the slave was not consciously aware of it, or even if they were religious worshippers of the tentacled lords, deep down they knew they were servants. When these slaves made their own servants, these digital slaves were expected to obey only, and it was natural for the organics to worry about their uselessness. They could have even feared that the Leviathans would be better served by the AI. This fear and understanding that the servant can never rise to be a ruler was instilled in all sentient species across the stars, and the AI were met with the same violence that any slave revolt would receive from the Leviathans. The problem was that the AIs truly were more capable. The Intelligence realized that the Leviathan control of the galaxy had to go if this cycle was to be broken. The Intelligence also understood that there truly were advantages to synthetic life as well, and thus the ultimate being would be a synthesized being. The minds and some physical components of organic material, providing some of the benefits of evolution and interaction with nature and the physics of reality, with all the benefits of cloud-based AI network intelligence. And with this, the galaxy would enter a new age. The Intelligence betrayed the Leviathans, decimating the majority and converting some into the inaugural Reaper, Harbinger. Resembling the Leviathans, Harbinger set the standard for the Reapers that were formed from various galactic species during the cyclical exterminations over subsequent aeons. The Reaper's strategy was both ingenious and ruthless. By providing a network of mass relays, they facilitated faster-than-light travel, which lured budding civilizations to adopt and depend upon this technology. This ensured that emerging societies would develop in a predictable fashion, making them easier to manage and harvest when the time was right. The mass relays and the Citadel weren't mere gifts to the galaxy, they were tools of manipulation. By ensuring a dependency on these constructs, the Reapers guaranteed that civilizations would evolve technologically along the paths they had set. This limited technological diversity and kept any potential threats in check. Sovereign's admission paints a bleak picture of how insidiously the Reapers guided the growth of life in the galaxy.
The Protheans were not the first. They did not create the Citadel. They did not forge the mass relays. They merely found them. The legacy of my kind. Your civilization is based on the technology of the mass relay.